Okay, I got a good history story for you for this episode of What's Up Poland, and that is the story of the bell in Wawel Cathedral. Now, I'm sure many of our viewers have been down to Kraków, beautiful city in southern Poland, which used to be the royal capital of Poland. Paddy, been?
Oh, many times. I do have a penchant for Kraków. However, only in the autumn because I think that's the most magical time. There's less tourists. There's a
Mm-hmm.
there's a mist in the air. It's like wet leaf thing, and
Yeah,
you just walk
yeah.
around. You imagine yourself back in the Middle Ages.
It is pretty good, right? And suddenly, like autumn or early autumn in Krakow for me does it as well.
Yep.
I actually
Funny.
had the great privilege of living down there for about 8 years, and my wife is from there as well, so I know the city extremely well. And the flat where I used to live was underneath the Wawel Hill. Now, of course, if you've been to Krakow, you'll
Oh,
know that there's this big hill right in the center of town. It's called the Wawel Hill, and on top of that, you have this beautiful royal cathedral where I also sang for a long time. I used to be a choir chorister. La 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 la. There you go. That's a little bit of
speaks
just a
Japanese. Drives a
yeah, no.
Subaru. There's no end to your talents, John.
Absolutely. But I had the great privilege of singing in the Wawel Cathedral. And also, on very special occasions, you'd also hear a bell called the Stary Zygmunt, locally called the Stary Zygmunt, so the Old Zygmunt, obviously named after King Zygmunt, who founded the bell back in 1521. And that's actually the story for this episode, is the fact that this bell in July 2021, so like when we are recording this episode of What's Up Poland, turns 500 years. Now that's pretty old for a bell, right?
Well, yes, I'm not a bell connoisseur per se, but I do believe that there are few bells of such magnificent longitude.
Well, absolutely. Well, let me just give you some quick facts, and of course, you can check more about the Zygmunt Bell by clicking on the link below to this episode of What's Up Poland. It weighs at 13 tons. It was made in 1520 by Nuremberg bell maker Hans Beham, almost like Beecham, right? But Beham, and it
True.
was well, obviously some sort of just distant Germanic relative there, and and it was hung in the beginning of July, 1521. Have you actually heard it ring?
I may not have been cognizant of the bell ringing at the time. I mean, it doesn't ring any bells with me, John.
Oh, well. It was rung for the first time in 1521 on the anniversary of the Battle of Grunwald. So that's when the Poles beat the Teutonic Knights. And you can hear it on very special occasions. I remember hearing it when the Pope died, John Paul II, back in 2005, I think it
Yes,
was.
that's correct.
It rang, and there are lots of legends. Like, there are legends that if a young maiden, virgin woman touches the clapper, then she will soon marry and be in love forevermore. Unfortunately, I don't think many women have managed to do that. Of course, the clapper has broke a few times. It kind of broke a few times in the 19th century. I don't remember which clapper it's on now, but anyway, you can
I would
actually
touch
hear
all
it
the
from
clappers,
far off.
I think. But if I was in that particular demographic, then I'd just touch all of them
Just
one
touch all
after
of
the
them,
other.
exactly, find them. So, of course, if you are in Krakow and you are there for a very special occasion, you can hear the old Zygmunt bell go ding dong, or whatever you want to call it, ring out. In fact, they measured it in the 19th century. You can actually hear it from 30 kilometers away. So, on a good day, you could probably hear it from quite far off. I mean, I lived half a kilometer away, if that, 300 meters away. So, of course, the bell sounded nice and meaty and rich. And it, of course, still does. So, I recommend you go down to Krakow and visit the Royal Cathedral down on Wawel Hill. And it is absolutely beautiful. I thoroughly recommend it. And that's all I have for you in this episode of Paddy. Can you just do the ceremonials?
I think it's time to say, hear ye, hear ye. Click on the link below this video, subscribe to this channel. Ding dong.